Welcome back to the Sonic Movie Show. My name is Ethan. With me here to talk about Sonic news, movie news, and Sonic movie news is Devin.
They did everything right, and they indicted me.
That's right. That's right.
Sonic said that.
He said that. He said that indeed.
Yeah.
You know, with the writer's strike, we run a dangerous risk of having Scabs write Sonic Movie 3. And if they're trying to be funny, we could get some really bad jokes in there, and that could be one of them. That could be one of them.
That would be... It depends on the delivery for me. Like, what would be the full context of it? If it was just out of the blue, that would be funny. Because it'd just be, like, without any other... Like, they're not referencing, like, politics at all. Like, just Sonic at some point says, I did everything right, and they indicted me. He just says that. Like, that would be pretty funny. Because I'd be like, wow, that's out of left field for you. Like, I was not expecting that Sonic the Hedgehog. But if they did, like, a whole president bit, then, yeah, I would think that would be not as funny.
Well, I mean, he did out of the blue talk about Vin Diesel and The Rock fighting each other, so, like, an ancient feud. So,
and that joke is kind of... Yeah, it's an ancient feud now. I think, in that context, that joke's not going to fall.
Well, we don't know. This
over,
was a
dude.
business decision. That was a business decision, 100%.
Everything in Hollywood's a business decision.
Well, yes, but I mean, like, interpersonal, I don't know.
Dude, they're friends now.
But The Rock donated a ginormous sum to the WGA, or it was a WGA and
yeah, that was pretty dope.
Regardless, a lot of money. He donated all of his Black Adam residuals, which was I don't know if that's true, but that's my joke. But yeah, Sonic Movie 3
still more than the Flash,
right? Hadn't Morbius done better than the Flash?
Yeah,
which is funny because, like,
close.
Objectively speaking, Morbius has all bad actors except Tyrese from Fast and Furious.
Forget
obviously.
that he's in that.
Yeah,
I don't know to what capacity because I didn't see it. But.
Like, I forget the trailer. He's like, "You're a doctor. You're supposed to help people," and Morbius is or whatever in the corner.
Yeah,
I can't hate because that's a serious role, and try to branch out. I'll never forget when Chris Rock did that Jigsaw movie Spiral, and I'm watching this trailer thinking everything he's saying is going to be accompanied by a punchline. No, he's serious.
Yeah.
You're just not used to it. And like, I want you to be able to I'm pretty sure like he produced that movie Spiral. Regardless,
I need to catch up. On the Saw because Saw 10 or whatever is coming out.
Yeah. We didn't watch the last one together, and so I haven't seen any of them since. The last one being like when they made their original run.
I rewatched the first one.
First one's a good movie.
That's
and then they decided torture porn is profitable, and I can't blame them. All right, you made a good movie. Now you can.
Which is funny because I started to become immune to it as we watched it, but then I watched because
we marathoned them.
Yeah.
To be fair, we marathoned them back to back, sometimes in a single sitting,
Yeah.
Like,
but it's funny. It's just that like it became so ridiculous that it doesn't feel as gross anymore, if that makes sense. But then I watch a movie like Midsummer where there's like one or two scenes that I'm like, this is so fucked up. Why was this allowed on the screen? And then Bryn will be like, hey, do you want to watch Midsummer? I'm like, I don't know if I'm in the right mental capacity for that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to see a man's face get smashed in by a hammer without it panning away. I don't know if I want that.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
All I'm saying is that it's funny that Morbius is apparently done better than what The Flash is doing. I think The Flash is still in theaters, so I don't know. And maybe it ended up passing Morbius. I don't know.
Dude,
I just find it hilarious.
I almost said Barbie, and
get ready for the Mattel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, I know. That's the one negative of it all.
I just find it funny that Morbius, who has an objectively worse list of actors than just simply Michael Keaton being in the Flash movie alone, somehow he wasn't enough to carry it. But Michael Keaton was also in that Batgirl movie that was for HBO Max that got canceled at the finish line. So
that would have made more money easily.
100%. Because guess what? People like Batman. You know what I mean? He makes sense being in there. People would like to see a Batgirl, and it was on a lower budget. That's the thing is you watch. So there was which one of these horror movies came out recently that had a budget of $5 million, and it made like $9 million. That's a lot of profit compared to what they made.
Yeah.
You know,
I think,
why does every
summer
blockbuster non-R-rated movie need to have a $200+ million budget? They don't.
And then it doesn't even look good anymore. Let's just be real. I'm saying what it is. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah.
After everything.
God, I don't remember if it. I think it was for
it's time to
Secret
end
Invasion.
It's time to end it.
I think it was for Secret Invasion, but the way the scene was, I saw on Twitter, it could have been Spider-Man Far From Home, where Nick Fury's sitting in a chair with a gun, and like you remember the scene in Far From Home where he sees him in his door or in his hotel room or whatever. But I think it was Secret Invasion. I think it was Secret Invasion. He's holding a gun. The gun was CG. They couldn't even make a fake prop gun. Like,
just fucking stupid. That's all it is.
Because guess what?
Sorry.
Set makers are unionized. Prop making is a unionized act. Wardrobe's unionized. VFX? Sorry. There's too many of your studios out there. Too many VFX studios, and we can make you guys bet and bid down a price for yourselves. You know what I mean? So, like, they can't unionize because they're all competition with each other.
But yeah,
they should unionize.
I've went from, I'm going to take a break from MCU to, like, whatever, to, like, now I'm just like, fuck it. I want it to fail now. I know it's fucked up. I kind of want it to fail.
Well, no, because, like, I can't think of anything that they could do that would be, like, I don't want to say worth it, but, like, even remotely interesting. Another Spider-Man would be awesome. I would watch that.
I got that with Across the Spider-Verse, which wasn't even part of the MCU, so
right.
I'm good. I'm Spider-Man'd out, honestly.
I haven't yet to see that movie. I'm kind of upset I didn't see it in theaters.
I liked it.
But, yeah, I didn't see it. Oh, and then Sony Pictures is delaying Beyond the Spider-Verse and the Kang, not Kang, Kraven the Hunter. I almost called him Kragen. Kraven the Hunter. They do a fucking Kraven the Hunter movie because apparently Morbius was a good sign to them. They're delaying both of those because of the writer's strike, which is obviously funny that they can't just meet at the table. But I was listening to Adam Conover talk. I don't know if this other guy is a good guy or a bad guy because I've seen people say how he's problematic, but Jon Favreau, not the actual filmmaker Jon Favreau, but
I was gonna say I haven't heard
not
anything
him.
Bad about Jon
this other guy who also happens to be Jon Favreau. I feel like this guy is a very much a Hillary Clinton like status quo is A-OK by me lib type of person. I don't know about him, but I was watching this podcast, but his podcast, Adam Conover was on it, and Adam Conover was he's very passionate. He's able to talk. Like, basically, this Jon Favreau guy is just trying to make sure he's involved in the podcast. It's basically just you gave an hour for Adam Conover to speak. And he was saying how the AIMPT, I think that's the acronym for it, that the unions have to negotiate with. This is an entity that's hired by all of these studios, all these major companies, right, to bargain on their behalf. And the way that, they're basically being paid to ensure that they're not losing more money from raises and stuff like that, that anyone that wants, to negotiate with, they basically are spending money to make sure they're not spending more money in the future. That's kind of how it works for them. They have not, because so many different, Netflix and NBC and Warner Discovery and all these places, they'll have different interests, but like this is an organization that they can wax the hairs off their moral mind and just be like, it's not our problem. You know what I mean? We don't have to be the bad guys here, even though we are the ones that want, to make even more money. If we could counter negotiate and say, do you want to make less money? If that could work out, they would do it, obviously. But like, the writers and even the actors, but the writers would be like, all right, one thing we want to negotiate is to codify the writer's room, because it's just like a practice, but it's not a guarantee, and it kind of needs to be a guarantee of the writer's room and having writers on set for, being part of production and this and that. AIMPT, I think that's how you pronounce, that's the acronym for it, basically just says no, and we're not going to counteroffer, because they don't actually have the go-ahead from the studios to negotiate any of that stuff. It's just money, essentially, is what they can negotiate for. So, like, just found this very fascinating. So, essentially, it really is up on the Bob Igers and the David Zaslavs and all of them. It's like specifically on them because it's, and we knew this before, but like it's not even in like, you can't just cloudily say it's a complex organization and blah blah blah. It really is on just like the dozen plus studio executives that
who are all
not,
they have more class solidarity than, I mean, it's all rich people in general have more class solidarity than anyone below them. They know,
absolutely,
even when they're competing with each other, they know what team they're playing on at the end of the day. So, and they don't need to even make phone calls about it. They know what they're doing. So as soon as this stuff came out, I'm sure, they're probably smoking cigars somewhere right now instead.
Being like, we'll wait them out. So you're not making $10,000 this year. That's fine. I can go without $10,000 this year because they're that poisoned with money. They don't know what,
Right.
Everyone likes to poke around the Arrested Development bit of, it's just a banana. What's it cost? $5? I forget what her name was, but that actor who played the mom in Arrested Development is my favorite. Honestly, probably my favorite actor. She's so damn funny in that show. She's also in Archer, the animated FX show Archer, playing essentially the same character. Sonic Movie 3 hopefully doesn't have any issues with its this and its that, and we can come out and we can morally watch it. I will take
Sonic Movie 3 being delayed 10 years from now. I don't even give a fuck if that meant.
Here's our question, because today's topic, folks, is we're going to predict the Sonic brand over the next 5 years. And now initially, I think we were discussing just video games, because we're like, we know we're getting a Knuckles show this year, a movie next year.
Yeah, we've talked
TV
about
shows,
that.
But with the strikes and all that, do you think Sonic 3 will actually get delayed because of the studio's inability
I think it's... I mean, I saw screenshots that they're filming,
across the table.
I think, in England, which I'm not sure how that's working, because since this is an American strike, I'm not sure how it may not be affecting...
But if it's Hollywood, if it's a Hollywood production...
Yeah, I don't know. I saw on Twitter that they some screenshots of like them in the woods and somewhere in Green Hills, and I think it was in... I want to say it was in England, maybe New Zealand, somewhere where they speak English, but it's not American English.
Sure.
So, I mean, right now, I think it's too early. That movie's still far in advance.
Because I think did they give a timing or a date? Because it was the end of next year, right?
Yeah, it was Christmas time. I forgot the exact date, but there's a date out there. I think right now, like, if any movies are being delayed, it's going to be the ones in the next like 3 months. I mean, I saw that there were some movies delayed going into this month, but it was not like Disney ones or whatnot. Because that's the thing, is like these companies are still marketing these films.
Right.
The only thing we're missing out on is like the actors going on the Today Show or whatever to talk about it, or Good Morning America.
Oh, I forget what movie it was where it was delayed, and the reasoning that was given was because the actor wouldn't be able to promote the film. That was their reason why they're delaying the entire movie. Yeah,
so I think for like a smaller movie where you have like, one actor that's like really big on it, then maybe I could see that. But like, I feel like these bigger movies aren't going to change. I don't know. I think right now it's too early to tell.
I think part of the tactic,
Sonic will be delayed, just based off what I've seen of them filming in other locations that aren't the United States, and they could be doing maybe more of the other stuff that doesn't require actors to be and writers to be on set. It could be just special effects stuff, which is unfortunate. But I don't know.
We'll see.
With that regard,
I'm with you though. I'm okay with them delaying it 10 years if it means like I'm okay with that. But the tactic, 100% the tactic.
I know Ben Schwartz is on the picket line. I've seen him on Twitter at the picket line. So like, he's not there. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. But these studios, their tactic is to get the fans mad at the writers and even the actors if need to. You're telling me I won't be able to see a new Ant-Man because you don't want to be in my movie? Like, they want people to think like that and be like, it's their fault.
Yeah.
they just don't want to work. They're lazy.
We talked about in our one episode there when this was first announced that like, yeah, you can't fall for the bullshit of what these companies and media is going to try to do, because it's still early on in this strike, and it's estimated they can go on till I think I saw that SAG did a statement saying like, we are happily able to do this with the much donations they've gotten till at least the end of this year. So another 6 months of them not being on set or anything like that. So yeah. I mean, I don't know if Sonic's going to be affected. I can see maybe the Knuckles show being affected if they haven't finished maybe some like voice acting stuff. But once again, I don't know when it comes to like Idris Elba. Is he part of the union? Is he, if he's in the UK? You know what I mean? Like,
I think if you're in a Hollywood production movie, you would have to be like, that door is at least. I don't know how it works. I really don't know.
So I don't know the logistics of that, but I could see that maybe being delayed. But I feel like they don't have much time. If not, we're going to
see a whole bunch of Daniel Craig James Bond movies now. We need to fill in the void. My nephew, he can write a story.
I don't know how it works. But like I said, I did see there was photos out there of set pieces from Sonic 3.
Have you been sharing it on our Twitter account at Sonic Movie Show?
I think so. I don't know.
Because folks can definitely follow
us. It might have been on
Threads.
If they want. It might have been on Threads.
Oh,
actually,
on Threads.
I don't remember. It was like a week or two ago.
Oof.
Let me see.
Oof. Well, yeah. I mean,
but regardless,
I would be curious if because a lot of the talk on the writing strike itself specifically is a lot on the streaming aspect on all this stuff. Residuals are extremely low. Information on that stuff.
This is from Tails channel, which one of the bigger Sonic reporters out there. They're like CNN, and we're like some like small independent like local news station over here. But yeah, there's those screenshots there. Basically it's just a sheriff car and then Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles in the woods. So like so it's in England. Ahead of principal filming reportedly set for late August.
Interesting.
So it's filming prep, so I guess they're not filming. So I guess you don't need any actors or writers for that. And it's in England, so I don't know how that changes things. But
do you think that we're going to be getting a lot of information about the Knuckles shows, like trouble behind the scenes in terms of how these people are being treated, paid, etc., or do you think that
that's a good point. I didn't think about that, like, because we have seen that with like a lot of Marvel stuff, like some Marvel writers and whatnot have come out with like I know there was the WandaVision folks came out saying like, yeah, my face was scanned for, they were like an extra, they got their face scanned and they weren't even told what it was for, and it came out it was just so they can not pay them, so they can just plug them in the background whenever they needed to.
That's insane.
I hope not. I mean, I hope that our folks that we like aren't doing any scab behavior. But it says it's in England and it's film prep. I don't think that breaks anything, because it's not like the whole industry is stopping from the point of like the actual filming of movies if it's like animated, I guess, right? I mean, there's still international films and stuff too. So like if you're in New Zealand and filming,
if it comes to something where like there's a problem on set, or there's a realization that this scene, the way it's written, doesn't work, then they need someone to change that. And if the writers are on strike, then... But I mean, a lot of them have been cutting that out and just having the showrunner who's on set make calls like that anyway. Wild stuff. So besides the movie and the TV show...
I mean, Jeff Fowler hasn't tweeted since June 22nd. If that means anything.
Let's move off the striking stuff, and let's move on to the kind of the rest of the topic here. So my first question is, because we're going to be basically predicting the next 5 years of Sonic brand stuff. I think before we get to the video games, we might as well end cap the film and television stuff. Obviously, this year is Knuckles, right? So I don't think we're going to count that. I think we're counting from 2024 till end of 2029, right? So like Sonic Superstars and like anything we know about today or this year, like put that aside. 2024 to the end of 2029, that 5-year span there.
So January 1st, this upcoming January 1st.
That is correct, yes.
A faraway time, okay.
Yes, yep. Obviously, Sonic Movie 3 will happen within this 5 years, at some point. But do you think we're going to get any other Sonic movie universe TV shows, streaming shows, and movies in the by the end of 2029?
By the end, I mean, I think in the next 5 years, you're at least going to get probably another TV show. In terms of like the Sonic movie universe stuff, like I can see like a Knuckles season 2 if it does well, I don't know. I mean, like Sonic 2 made more money than Sonic 1. And if Sonic 3 does that, I don't see why they would stop making them. So I would say maybe at least one more.
I'm kind of on a similar boat. I guess I'd think that there would be one more.
It's weird that I'm not confident in that there would be more than one more, because there's Sonic Movie 2 came out, last
year?
Or 2022, April or May, whatever it was.
Yeah. It's like April.
And it's going to be basically almost 2.5 years till the next one. So, and that's 1 year into your range there. So I think it's safe to say one.
I think one, and I think they'll still make more,
worried
but
that it'd
only
be bad. But they're trying to churn them out too quick. That might be bad. So I don't know if I'd want that.
And when we say Sonic movie, we don't like a Shadow the Hedgehog movie counts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In that,
I don't think they would do that though. I don't.
I think they. I think they could.
I don't know.
When it comes to the fourth or
I
fifth
think something
one,
like
I think
Mario.
they will.
Mario will do a Peach movie before there's a Shadow the Hedgehog movie.
But isn't Shadow the Hedgehog really just our Princess Peach? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Secretly the coolest one in the whole group. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just think like it was already kind of a big deal that Sonic made as much money as it did when everything was kind of going against them going into the first one.
Fair. That's fair.
So I feel like they don't want to, and we've seen them be kind of, I don't want to say safe, but now based off these these photos taken, that it seems like Green Hills is going to be involved again. I feel like Paramount isn't too keen on like taking too many risks.
Man,
like
I hope that's just the beginning.
Or I mean, let's be real, a Rouge the Bat film would be what I would crave.
A Rouge the Bat cinematic universe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we had an old episode of the Sonic movie show like a year ago where we casted the entirety of the Sonic game characters with actors. I do not know who we picked for Rouge the Bat, but hey, while we're here, who would you want to be?
People.
Yeah, who would you want to be Rouge the Bat? Because I think, honestly, if I can throw this out there, if we're going to have oh my God, what's his name?
For me, it'd be like
Timothy Clemente as Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah,
we need someone like at that age, and literally the only person I can think of is Zendaya. I don't know if that would be good or bad. I don't know. You know what I mean? I guess I just don't know too many.
I guess
young
she was
actors.
Princess Peach, so I can't. I was gonna say Anya Taylor-Joy, but I guess she was Peach, so
she'd be.
I'm like, oh, she's been in a lot of stuff.
And for the record, we have no idea if there's going to be a Rouge the Bat in any of these at all. But probably, you know what I mean.
Just trying to think of like
they watched our tier ranking list and they're like, all right,
I haven't seen enough. I feel like animated stuff in the last 5 years to like pick anyone.
Or hey, like, they could just go with a voice actor.
Experience.
You know what I mean, and not actor. Because Tails is voiced by the actor that does Tails. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I mean, that's why first came to mind was Anya Taylor-Joy, but I forget that she was Peach. But I think that's why we were just talking about Mario, so I think she was on my mind.
True. Okay. I think we both agree at least one movie I can see them doing a supplementary
it's
show.
It's gonna be Sonic 4.
Yeah,
Sonic the Hedgehog, I would guess.
Yeah, because like they're not going to drop that until they start
unless
bombing.
Sonic Movie 3 bombs. Yeah. Which I don't think
bombs,
is likely.
Then they'll pull the brakes. But
I don't think it's likely.
But here's the thing:
like
they have so many
Marvel
ways to
pivot.
Let's say Sonic Movie 3 makes half as much money as Sonic Movie 2. Ouch. We pivot to just streaming movies instead. Lower budget, and it's Sonic 4 as a streaming movie, and we will make money.
Paramount Plus.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We will make that money back. So like, I don't know. I say we'll make that money back. They'll make that money back, and they'll do so by not paying writers. Yeah. Games now. Video games. So we know that there is a Sonic Superstars this year. Moving on from 2024 to 2029, I have a few games in mind. I'm curious to know what you think, but I think I'll just rattle off my 3. I think these are very safe bets, and I have some reasonings why. First off, and here's actually, let me set the stage on why I actually kind of wanted to pick this topic at all, because I picked this one, bitches. We used to be at a time where there was a new mainline Sonic game every year, in addition to other smaller games, you know what I mean? Your Sonic not mobile, but handheld games and the like, right? Your Sonic Rushes and whatnot. We literally had like Sonic 2006, and then Sonic and the Secret Rings, and then Sonic Unleashed, and then Sonic Colors, right? Maybe there was a year off in between there. But then Sonic Colors, and then Sonic Generations, and then I think there might have been a year off, and then Sonic and Lost World and Sonic Boom. A lot of them a year and year and year, like a year off, but then they have the racing games, and they have the this and that. They had so many Sonic video games coming out. Sonic Forces comes out 2017, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I would be afraid if I was wrong because it makes me a poser. I'm pretty sure there was no mainline Sonic game between that and Sonic Frontiers, right? In 2022. I mean, that's 5 years.
In terms of mainline ones, the only ones I can think of that were in between it were there was Team Sonic Racing.
Yeah, racing supplementary
Team Racing,
game.
whatever.
Team Sonic Racing. Team Sonic Racing. You look at what it says on the spine of the box. You have the game case. Look at the spine; it will tell you there. Unless they just have the little badge on the thing, because some games do that, where they just put the logo there instead of writing it out. So that makes me assume that the next big mainline Sonic game is going to be within 5 years, but it's not going to be. I guess it wouldn't be this year. This year would be the year after Frontiers. So my predictions. Obviously, yes, we're going to finish off the Sonic Frontiers DLC stuff. But I do suspect that a Frontiers 2 or some sort of sequel in spirit and gameplay, a gameplay sequel to Sonic Frontiers, will be at the end of this 5-year stint. It will be a 2027-ish type of thing, 5 years after Frontiers.
I could see
somewhere in there.
2027. I guess 2027 is probably safest, but I could see them trying to do 2026.
Something. And
the DLC
how much time did
come
they
out really yet?
Well, no, two of the 3 things they promised are out. The last one is the one that actually has playable characters, which we assume is new story content.
I mean, if the engine and all that's still there and they're just putting it on next gen, like, I could see 2026.
I would hope it's faster.
Maybe you get, and then maybe you get a 2029 at that point.
Yeah. It all depends on how wild they're going to go with ideas. If they're going very samey, then definitely a lot faster. But if they're going to be like, you know what would work even better? What if we had this and this and this and this? And it's like a Zelda Breath of the Wild thing to Tears of the Kingdom, where it's hard to go back to Breath of the Wild because Tears of the Kingdom has so much cool new stuff literally on top of what was already there. So like, or if it's just a Sonic Frontiers 2, then it's Sonic Frontiers 2. But I think that's within 5 years. 2 other things, I think. First one, I think, is fairly cheap to do, all things considered in the world of video games. Sonic Unleashed Remaster. Just like how there was that Sonic Colors Ultimate. Now, granted, that was taking the Hedgehog engine, and this was another team. It was Blind Squirrel Games. And they translated that to the Godot engine. That was the first commercial video game to use the Godot engine. And it was buggy as shit. It ate my save file. I had to wait half a year before I had the guts to go back and platinum that game again, or attempt to platinum, and I did. But I think that this is pretty likely. A couple reasons why this game and not Sonic Lost World or this or that or Generations. Sonic Unleashed, I'm 90% sure, is one of 2 Sonic games that are not on Steam. Sonic Unleashed and Sonic 06 are the only Sonic video games that are not on Steam. I'm probably wrong. At least from the HD console generations and onwards, from the 360 and PlayStation 3 onwards. Basically once it was like games are published on Steam as they also are on consoles. Because I'm sure GameCube, PS2 era, there might be some missing there. Maybe. Maybe Heroes isn't on there. Maybe Shadow the Hedgehog isn't on there. The mainline Sonic games from the HD consoles onward, we're missing Sonic 06. Yeah, they're not touching that game. We know why. We played that last year. And Sonic Unleashed. And Sonic Unleashed has a bad reputation with the werewolf, werehog sections. But it's the birth of the modern boost type Sonic gameplay, which is even still in Frontiers to a degree. It's a strand of it, a strand game version of it is in there.
Strand game.
So there's enough to like in there. They could easily go in and make it, hey, you don't really need to play much of the werehog stuff to continue, because there was a lot of, you have to do collectible stuff in order to unlock more story. They could adjust some stuff. But besides that, being able to play that game at 30 frames a second would be awesome, because I played that on PS3. I platinumed Sonic Unleashed on PlayStation 3. That's a really nice 15 frames a second video game when it goes fast.
Clean 15, I say.
Yeah, that's an exaggeration, but it is not a stable frame rate. I know 360 was a better version of the game. But it'd be cool to play that game, running at 60 and all that stuff would be awesome. Some of the best music. I think that's a cheap and easy year filler, because what I think they want to do is have a Sonic game that they can sell every year. Honestly, and I think the easiest way that they're going to do that is through re-releases, because I don't think we're going to see a Sonic Superstar sequel at all in the next 5 years. I think this is a one-off thing that they're doing. Just like Mania, they did it, and they're like, okay. Because we learned a bit more now. Christian Whitehead spoke, and oh my God, Izuka, I think is his name, the guy who's in charge of Sonic right now, the Sonic brand. Basically, they were like, yeah, there was no beef. People thought there was beef or whatever. We had some ideas. They had some ideas. We just didn't really want to do it, and that was that. So I think the same thing would happen. I don't think we're going to get a series of 2D Sonic games, even though I think those would be generally cheap to make for the amount of money they're charging, because they're charging $60 for Superstars. I don't think that's a bad price or anything like that, but they're making more off of that than they are making off of Sonic Frontiers in terms of the cost, you know what I mean? And assuming the games sell 1-to-1, and I think they will.
So you think they would do the Sonic Unleashed route and not because I know the fans, at least on Twitter that I've seen, wanted the Sonic Adventure.
That's my other
games.
I think a Sonic Unleashed remastered, where it's the same graphics, they tuned some things up, the quality of life stuff.
Fix the bugs.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
But that game wasn't really
or maybe not.
buggy.
Or maybe not.
It just ran like shit. And the final level, here's what made that platinum really tough to me. I get to say this because I platinumed that game. And one of these days, you know what? If you out there tell 100 million of your friends to watch us, and we're somehow getting money off of this because we're doing this out of the bottom of our hearts and the bottom of our wallets are empty. If you want to fill those wallets with money,
we have no rings.
We're going to do some sort of event thing where we make money off of this thing. We will stream, but I'll be playing it because I doubt you want to. I'll platinum the Japanese version of Sonic Unleashed, because it's the same trophies, but it's just a separate list. I'll get that shit off eBay. We'll do it. But only if you give us a shit ton of money. Only, because I don't want to do that. I can't speak Japanese. God, we'd have to do so much research for that.
Well, you need to read it, not speak it.
I mean, there's voice acting. Granted, I don't care what Sonic has to say. So, in that game...
But we care about what Rouge and Shadow
She's not in that game. Neither is he. That was very much their,
about Sonic Adventure, not Sonic Adventure 2.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm talking about Sonic Unleashed. Sonic Unleashed is what I'm talking about. I platinumed that game. No bugs.
See, the people don't want that. They don't want that.
Let me go on.
They want Sonic.
Sonic
Adventure
Unleashed is a remaster
version.
where they fix some stuff or whatever. But Sonic Adventure 1 remake is what I think. And when I say remake, I don't mean like The Last of Us Part 1, where it's basically the same game, but the graphics are brand new. I mean that they are going to redo that game. I don't think they're going to go crazy.
Dead Space.
Do not expect Sonic Frontiers with the adventure stuff in it. Like, no. It's going to be something very similar to how the Sonic Adventure games ran, but hopefully good, I guess is what I want to say. The areas will be redone. I'm sure a lot of the locations will look very similar, but the levels will be mostly the same, but like in that way where it's like, it's exactly how I remember it, but then you put it side by side and no, this stretch is a lot bigger. No, there was an extra loop added here. All this stuff. Like they're going to try to make it seem very faithful, but it is going to be a remake. New voice cast and all that stuff. With the modern Sonic voice cast and all that stuff for Sonic Adventure. I honestly think they would do that. They'll do the first game, and then at some point after that, probably not by the end of 2029, honestly. At some point, they will do Sonic Adventure 2, because I honestly think that this is just how the Sonic brand, video game-wise, is going to go. Like, if they want to have a Sonic game every year, they're going to be dipping into their past and just re-releasing things. And I think Sonic Origins kind of spoiled the idea of another Sonic Classic Collection anytime soon, because they kind of said this is the definitive one. So... what do you think?
Yeah,
you can expand on any of the things I said if you have similar ideas. But what do you think?
I generally agree. I don't think there's going to be one every year though. At least not in a capacity where they're remaking things. I could see they're continuing adding the many characters to Sonic Dash, and Roblox. I could see them continuing to do that. Also, I think a lot of it does depend on the movies. I know we don't maybe think about it that way, but I think them doing something as bold as Sonic Frontiers maybe doesn't happen without the success of the two movies on a brand. Because I feel like the Sonic movies, we were there. I mean, we lived through it through this podcast where we went from we're doing this podcast as a meme because the Sonic movie is going to be bad.
Yeah,
that's what the original intent was.
If you folks don't know, our first episode was before we got the trailer, and then we got the trailer within a week, and then our second episode was about the trailer. Yeah.
Yeah. And it went from that to like, oh, wait, this is good, and like maybe they should build off of that. And then there was supposed to be a Sonic game back in, 2021? Or something like that.
COVID delayed a lot of stuff. We assumed Frontiers would have been in 2021. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder if part of it was like, okay, we have to actually we can't do another Sonic Forces. We had Sonic 06 and 06, and we've kind of been fine since then, generally speaking. But then we had Sonic Forces. We can't do that again. And maybe that's just our own biases with that. Maybe they didn't see that. But I know Sonic Forces didn't sell well, if I remember correctly.
Mania outsold it. Granted, they're at different prices, but Mania outsold it.
Right. So my thing is, what I'm trying to say is, I think without the Sonic movies, you don't have maybe the new direction of Sonic Frontiers. And I do believe Sonic Frontiers, with how well it did and whatnot, that there will be a Sonic Frontiers 2, like you said, or something in that type of open zone concept again. I'm hoping they would expand on it more.
Can I just say real quick?
I hope it's next gen. Yeah.
Remember when we shat on the name Open Zone? Maybe not us, but collectively, and ended up being as we said on our Sonic Frontiers review episode.
It's an open world game.
It's the best Sonic. It's the best Sonic game. I wouldn't say it's not an open world game, but we don't need to have this discussion. We don't need to fight about it.
It's whatever. Whatever you want to call it. It is what it is.
It's Mario Odyssey.
You know what it looks like.
But Sonic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there was going to be a Sonic Frontiers 2 or something like that, and I said, I think it'd be by 2026, if not sooner. I can see 2025 the more I think about it, because they already, like I said, they already have the engine there and whatnot. they could already be working on it as we speak, and we don't know that because maybe they have half the team doing, pre-production stuff, and then have the rest of the team working on that DLC basic stuff. Because the DLC isn't like really fundamentally like adding a big chunk to the game. It's just mostly cosmetic stuff,
little knickknacks.
Like, yeah. So for me, I think it's 2025, 2026 for that, and then I honestly think you will see. I don't know. I keep going back and forth of like, will you see a Sonic Adventure? Because you said both Sonic Adventures will be remade. I have a feeling
eventually. I think just one within the 5 years, but
one. I would say one, but I think it's either going to be Sonic Adventure or Sonic Unleashed. I agree. I don't think it's going to be both. I think it's going to be one or the other.
Really,
in my because I think since they've done well with Sonic Frontiers, they don't want to just start churning them out. And we've seen some bad remakes too, and then they don't sell well. So I feel like if there's, at least I'm hoping that they would be like, I'd rather have one of those and it be like actually a good remake than having them push out two ones that are just like, yeah, this is just whatever. It's another one of the, it's like the last couple things we've had, like a Sonic. It will feel like the same quality as like one of these Sonic bundles where I'm like, yeah, I've played this and it's just the graphics are a little bit better. Like I don't want like it was fun to play Destroy All Humans remake, but I don't want that with that. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really enjoy Sonic Adventure or Sonic Adventure 2, so I'm expecting it to be actually like.
That's what I think. It's like a new game that's like, just trying to be as much as you remembered, but actually a lot of good stuff.
Yeah,
because you're right. Because like
Adventure or whatever,
we really enjoyed Destroy Humans 2. I didn't play the first one back in the day. I know you did. We really enjoyed Destroy Humans 2, and I played that Destroy Humans 2 remake, and I was going to platinum it, and I will eventually. Had a crash, and I decided I'm not playing this today. But that game isn't fun. Like in the 2022 context that I played it in, sure, when I play the PlayStation 2 version,
that's about it.
I forgive a lot because it's the game from 2006 that I'm playing in 2022. But no, this is a completely redone graphical style that is somehow just as buggy as the PlayStation 2 one and is really bad to play.
Because that's what sells still in the gaming sphere, is if the game is actually good. Because the thing is, you will get the Sonic fans to buy it no matter what. Yes. Yep. But Sonic Frontiers, I think the reason it sold well is because people heard that it was actually a good Sonic game. Yeah. And like we've said in that episode, that's just a good game outside of Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah. Remember we were comparing it to like a pack of cigarettes, where in the past you had to put a disclaimer on there being like, hey, this is a Sonic the Hedgehog game. There's some issues with this. For Sonic Frontiers, we finally took the label off. These cigarettes is cancer free. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, this is the first time ever we figured it out.
It's a good analogy. Yeah, for sure. So I go back and forth with it. I go back and forth because I see exactly what you're saying. Like, the Sonic brand is on a positive upswing these past 3 years or so. The movie was fun. People are like, hey, this wasn't the train wreck we thought it was going to get. Remember, we thought we were getting that ugly Sonic trailer, and they pulled a fast one on us and said, sorry, we're stupid. We're going to try this again. Now, did they stop paying animators, or I don't know, just fuck. But that comes out, and then there's a Sonic movie 2, and it's somehow not really bad because it's very possible to make a really bad kids sequel. It's extremely easy to do so when you rest on your laurels.
It's really hard to do a Shrek 2. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly,
and that's the pinnacle. And that's the pinnacle.
Because guess what?
No one's got it better than
Madagascar 2 trash. Kung Fu Panda 2 trash. DreamWorks has like one good sequel. You know what I mean? I think it's the only good Shrek movie besides the first one is Shrek 2. The other ones are in it. But I digress. The second movie is like, wow, it's really good. And then Frontiers comes out. Granted, there was that media controversy ahead of time of this looks really stupid, but then it's not. We played it, everyone really liked it. It sold really well, and it's a good quality video game it lacks the jank and cringe that Sonic brand video games have been known for. It might have bugs that are traditionally found in other video games, but still, the Sonic low effort, low quality bar is just buried in the sand you can't find anymore. And there's this other bar, I don't know what my analogy is. You climb that bar instead, and it's a good quality bar. So I can understand that there is a hesitancy. There was also in between in Sonic in 2021 there was the Sonic Colors Ultimate, which was just okay. But I think they got away with that because that was just a remaster. It wasn't whatever. You knew if you were going to buy it or if you weren't. You could ignore that one. So, but I can see what you're saying with Sega corporate hesitancy to do anything that might hurt that upswing. But
could you imagine if, like, in 2 years there's another Sonic Forces level? Like, how disappointing that would be compared to, like, if we got another Sonic Force. Let's say Sonic Forces happened, we didn't get Sonic Frontiers, and we got Sonic Forces 2. Basically, we'd be disappointed, but we've been expecting it. At this point, the expectations are higher now.
That's true.
At least for me,
true.
where I'm like, no, like you've had plenty of decades to figure this out. At this point, you finally got there. I'm happy for you. Congrats. But let's keep going. Keep stacking.
We'll see with Sonic Superstars. We'll see what the quality of that game is, because who knows. But I go back and forth between what you're saying and just the general idea of Sonic will sell no matter what. There's a minimum that Sonic will sell, and the Sega as a corporation knows that's their mascot. That's one of their giant cash cows. We got to have one every year because we need that Sonic money every year. I can see that probably being a stronger driver than concern over the brand, because for the most part,
I just think I would hope that they would see that Sonic being good and quote unquote cool again sells merchandise, sells all this stuff. And I once again, like, my personal points of view or what I see in my day to day or whatever isn't always the reality for everyone else. But I will say, I feel like since the Sonic movie came out, and maybe it's just because we do this podcast, like I said, so don't take it at this is like a case study or something like that I can give you 100% factual information. But I'm just saying, I feel like Sonic is cool again with not just the fans like us, but like I feel like kids are interested in Sonic again. Like I swear to God, everywhere I go now, I feel like I see at least once a month, like a kid wearing a Sonic shirt or a Sonic hat, or he's playing a Sonic game. Because I've gone on flights, I've gone on, to the movies or whatever. When I saw the Mario movie, there was freaking kids wearing Sonic shit. Like,
they were infiltrating behind enemy lines.
They're infiltrating. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like, and I don't know. I just feel like I see it more often now that, like, hey, Sonic is cool again. Like, people are like, yeah, Mario, Sonic. I feel like I feel like 10 years ago it probably wasn't, maybe not 10 years ago, but like 5 years ago I wouldn't say that I've seen some people be like,
I think it might
Pikachu
be a recency
Pokemon
bias
before
type
that,
thing.
but
I've definitely seen Sonic
like
things,
I said, I don't think I have no
think you're right, though,
stats to back it up.
I think you're right. You're right. Yeah. Now, one final question for you, unless you had any other games that you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, outside of, like, the Roblox stuff.
I think all that stuff is a given.
I mean, what is Sonic in Fortnite yet?
Sure, he's in Fortnite now. You know what I mean? That's our new prediction. Okay. Instead of making a game next year, it's just Sonic's in Fortnite.
No, I want him in Modern Warfare or Warzone.
Yeah, he's gonna be in Warzone 3.0 or whatever.
With Snoop Dogg and everything.
Yeah, with Nicki Minaj, and she just got in. Yeah.
I find it kind of weird though. It's different with, like, Fortnite, and Call of Duty is a little bit more quote unquote realistic. It's a little weird to be. I'm
sorry, The Boys' Homelander is in Warzone. So
I don't know.
And, like, hey, no offense to you, Godzilla was in Warzone.
That's true.
Like,
but he's not a playable character, is what I'm saying.
Now, if Goku was in Warzone,
like, I can't imagine, like, playing a game and be like, Snoop Dogg is on my 6. I have to kill him. Like, that's just weird, like, fundamentally, compared to what Fortnite is, where it's also goofy and cartoony. That's whatever.
I think it depends. Honestly, I think it depends. I think, honestly, Nicki Minaj and Snoop Dogg would be cool. I said Goku, but honestly, if you're playing Warzone and you could be Goku in Call of Duty, you would be Goku in Call of Duty. Everyone would be Goku. I meant more just like
it's weird to wrap my head around in Call of Duty versus Fortnite, in the sense that, like, I feel like I'm shooting celebrities is what I'm trying to say. I just feel, because the game's a little bit more realistic.
Then you activate your mod that turns all the enemies into children, and then you're shooting kids instead. How's that?
Right.
Besides all of
I was just thinking about the other. I haven't played it since the Godzilla thing, but I was just thinking about like, because I saw clips of Snoop Dogg executing people basically in Warzone, and I'm just like, bro, it's so silly to be like, I don't know, just like 15 years ago, like just telling myself like, yeah, there's gonna be a game where you can shoot
Snoop Dogg,
all your favorite friends.
Well, there was
cartoon
Def Jam.
characters.
There was the Def Jam games where you could play as Snoop Dogg.
I guess that's true.
But I want Snoop,
it's just funny to
I want
think
Snoop
about.
Dogg to be in Tekken again. Tekken Tag Tournament 2. There was a Snoop Dogg stage as DLC. He made an original song, and he's in the background. You're in his mansion. That's where the stage is, and he's in the background singing because apparently he loves Tekken. And of course, Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez loves Tekken, as we learned from the Game Awards when they announced the now delisted Fast and Furious Crossroads. So besides all of the cross-promotional stuff and the Roblox and the forts, the wars, no more wars.
Magic the Gathering, maybe.
There's a Lord of the Rings Magic the Gathering thing, and they made one ring card.
One ring.
Yeah.
I saw a video of the guy holding it when he first opened it. His hand was fucking shaking. Which is like, are you excited that you got it, or are you excited that you just got a $2.5 million card, or whatever the fuck
I think
it's
it's
worth?
the latter, because there's no way.
That'd be me if I won the lottery or something.
I think the we're going way off topic, but it's my fault. I think the amount of people that win these one of a kind things like that, I think the amount of people that keep them are very low. Do you remember Nintendo Labo?
Do you
remember Nintendo Labo?
Yeah,
the cardboard thing. It's long dead and gone. I own 3 of the 4 of them. I don't own the 4th one, and I didn't even build one of them. It's like building Legos. You just get that enjoyment, but then once it's built, it's like, play with it a little bit. At least Legos I can dismantle and keep the instructions. The cardboard's kind of like that. They did a competition. I don't know if it was all Nintendo, like every region, or if it was like just Nintendo of Europe. But the winner was from Europe, where he did something with Nintendo Labo, I don't know. And they sent him a custom Nintendo Switch that was cardboard brown, and the dock said Nintendo Labo on it. The Joy-Cons were that brownish cardboard coloration they used on the boxes, like actual like box, for the Labo brand. One of a kind. And that was purchased recently by a preservationist group that's trying to collect video game console variants. And they're showing like, oh my god, I forgot about that contest. Like, and yeah, that kid probably sold it for a lot of money. And I wonder, like, same thing with that Lord of the Rings card and all that stuff. Do people actually keep this shit? Or are they like, I can sell this for how much money? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would sell it, because you just never know if, like, it's just not worth anything in 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, for something like that. It's like the Pokemon card thing that was a big deal. I mean, I know it's still kind of a big deal, but, like, it was like a big deal in like 2020, 2021 or whatever. Like, sell now.
Target stopped selling Pokemon cards because they're like, white dudes over 30 keep trampling children, so we're not going to sell these anymore. Besides all of that stuff, and besides, the games we already talked about, let's pretend there is a surprising new Sonic thing coming out within this time frame that we've said, 2024 to 2029, like all of 2024 through all of 2029. Do you think? Well, I'm not going to say do you think. Let's just say that there is one. What do you think would be a huge surprise? It's just a pie in the sky thing. That's more of a what do you want type of thing, but what do you think is also realistic? If they were to come out and announce a video game,
or what do you think is? Are you asking like a combination of what I want? What do you think is
combination, a realistic want that could be a out of the blue surprise? I was
going to say I can see a surprise being Sonic exclusive to Game Pass or something to that effect. Ooh. Without Sega being bought, that Sonic Frontiers 2 is Game Pass only for its first year, or Sony, whatever it is. Do I want that? No, but that's the first thing that came to mind when you asked that question. I was like, I can see an exclusivity thing with that being like, okay, get Game Pass, get Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Frontiers, whatever. What do I want though? You know what I want? That's probably not good. This one's probably more pie in the sky than like any chance of reality. Sonic the movie, the game.
Oh. Why do we never think about this?
I want to play as Tom. You know what I mean? Tom Wachowski.
Okay.
I want to be able to play as all the human characters and Sonic characters. Like I want it to be kind of like and I want it to be like the era of 2005 when you had like Transformers the game where it has cutscenes from the movie in it. Like I want it to be that kind of. But then you're playing what happens off screen. You know what I mean? For the most part, so it's like, how did Sonic and Tails get to Siberia again?
I think this is a future episode idea. I'm not gonna lie. I think we can expand on this.
Then?
Yeah, keep it in your pocket. You made one like business prediction and then one like video game. So I'll do the same thing. My business prediction, and this is gonna be wild because some people are gonna be like, why? But you got to remember, way back in the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 generation, it was possible to buy Sonic 06 digitally on your Xbox 360 through the games marketplace or whatever. And at some point in that generation, they delisted the game because it was lowering the brand's quality overall in the eyes of customers. My wild prediction is they will do that with Sonic Forces. They will delist that game because if we're starting to get more and more good Sonics, and Sonic Forces is on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 as games that you could play on your PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 6 and Nintendo Switch 2 and Xbox Series XYZ. You know what I mean? Like, if only the Sonic games on there are all good games and Forces is on there as well, they're going to drop Forces. That's my crazy. It could easily not happen. But I would not be surprised.
Didn't they just add something to Sonic
Forces? That's the mobile game.
Last...
They just call it Sonic Forces. That's a mobile game.
Okay.
It's Sonic
Dash.
Like,
that's the only reason I think that they
game.
Wouldn't give up on it if they're adding stuff to it.
No. They have not touched Sonic Forces, the actual video game.
I want them to delist it and also go into people's homes and confiscate it. Just like what right-wingers think that the government's going to do with their guns. I want to that level of scare that like they're kicking down doors.
The government can do that with my Bud Light though.
Right. Now I want them to come down, kick down your door and be like, we know you have it. Be like, what? Like they don't tell anybody. That's like the scary part. It's like, what are they asking for? Everyone's going to think it's the worst case. It's like, no, we're just trying to take Sonic Forces.
My stupid kids
Dark Brandon's orders.
Yeah, Dark Brandon's orders. Yeah, and the ultra crazy diamond omega level prediction element on that is going to be a personal order from freaking Joe Biden. Dark Brandon's going to be like, my grandson Tiffany played this game, and I don't think they
something
liked
happened.
it.
Yeah, she got sick afterwards, and I realized I have to save America. I have to do what's necessary.
My wife's a doctor.
Executive order. Executive order.
That's my crazy business prediction. Is Sonic Forces will get delisted. And they'll sugarcoat the reasons why, but it's going to be optics reasons. They want that game to be gone. Also, as far as a game is concerned, I predicted a Sonic Adventure remake that's not just a graphical thing. Like, they're trying to be faithful, and all that stuff. The crazy version of that is it's Sonic Adventure 2, and Sonic Heroes all in one thing. Or at least they're announcing them all together of like, they could be separate games or they could be a collection. I don't care. But like, it's not just one and then we're going to see how that goes and then have that team make the next one. We've already made, we have 3 of them and they're all coming out, July, August, September, or, March, August, December, however we want to space them out. That's the pie in the sky of like, they're clearly not going to do that. But it's not impossible. If I can predict it and it seems semi-reasonable that it could happen that way, then who knows? What do you guys think out there? Let us know in this YouTube comments below. What do you think?
Well, hold up. One last hot take.
You're going to steal it from the comments? Sonic. Oh, they delete Sonic?
They're just saying we're done. We've done everything we've ever wanted to do with Sonic the Hedgehog. It's time.
We have a new man.
We take the high road. We take the high road. We're not going to drain our poor guy Sonic for money anymore. We did Sonic Frontiers. There's nothing else left we need to do. And on top.
This could be another episode prediction. Or an episode thing. So future episode of this podcast, we're going to talk about our Sonic movie, his Sonic movie. It's not my Sonic.
If we
Sonic
remember.
movie game.
If we remember.
Write it down. Hey Siri, remind me Sonic movie video game. She didn't turn on. Another episode that we will elaborate on this further, unless you really don't want to, but I think this would be good. There was a time when it was possible and maybe even business savvy to replace your mascot in your brand. Batman got replaced with Batman Beyond. Sonic, we're sunsetting him. We have a cool, new, fast hedgehog who is now the franchise brand mascot.
Sonic Jr.
Whoever he is, the new, cooler version of Sonic for today's youth.
Playboy Sonic.
Exactly.
He's like
Fuckboy Sonic.
He's like a Hugh Hefner. He's
yeah.
Fuckboy Sonic. Really fits with the kids nowadays.
Yeah. That would be wild. I don't know. We could talk about that later. Like, what would if Sega really wanted to be like? Sonic's gone. We've deleted Sonic, and we've replaced him with someone very uncannily similar.
I do like the idea of a fuckboy Sonic that is Hugh Hefner Sonic. Just everyone loves him. What are you gonna do?
Let us know what you think in the comments below on this YouTube video here on youtube.com/@SonicMovieShow. Write out what your Sonic predictions are for the next 5 years. Do you agree with any things that we say? Do you disagree with any things we say? Let us know. We're also on Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I think that's all of them at Sonic Movie Show.
TikTok, yeah, you said that.
TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Threads. Although Instagram and Threads are kind of the same thing, but they're different apps. So we're all on there at Sonic Movie Show. I'm on Twitter at Ethan Absolutely. Devin's on Twitter at ChrisOnaFun. Yes, we know what the date is. We're on Twitter at those ats. So, reach out to us or whatever. I don't care. Have a speedy, fantastic.
Oh, I actually thought of who's going to voice Rouge the Bat.
Who?
Mila Jovovich, our girl from Resident Evil. Why not? I could see her doing it. It just happened. I was just like, you know what?
I can see
I was trying to find someone like younger
as a person.
I was trying to find someone younger for like because kids like to hear more of a younger sounding voice. But Rouge the Bat ain't that though. She's a veteran.
She's been
around
in
the block.
Afghanistan.
Yeah, she's seen things you wouldn't believe.
God.
Corruption. She
the
was in part of many coups.
The U.S. is invading the small town in Afghanistan because they think there's a guy there, but we know it's not, and they're just trying to seize the area. And so there's all these innocent people, and like there's the resistance fighters trying to defend against the American scum, and they're huddled. There's gunfire outside. There's a family that's in there, and then there's soldier, and there's the brother's a soldier, and he's like, "I'll protect you, keep you safe from the American scum," which is true American scum. And like there's a movement, and the little kid's like, "What is that?" And they see it crawling on the ceiling. Rouge the
that's
fucking
so
bat.
Scary. That'd be so scary.
With a camo print of like instead of the pink heart, it's like desert camo. version, but the outfit's still the same.
Add this to the list. We need a Rouge the Bat. We need a Rouge the Bat movie. That's another episode.
Oh
Rouge the Bat movie starring Mila Jovovich.
Goodbye. See you later.